Right now on To The Point, devastation across Los Angeles.
Really never seen any destruction like this before. Everything is gone.
Tonight, strong and fast-moving winds fuel more flames, forcing thousands to evacuate.
This is crazy. There's a fire right outside our car.
Tonight, President Biden announcing more federal help.
The federal government will cover 100% of the cost for 180 days.
And what's next for our home insurance crisis? We ask the state's insurance commissioner one-on-one.
This is unfortunately yet one more disaster that we have to overcome in California.
And how you can lend a helping hand to those affected. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on To The Point. I'm Becca Habiger. We continue to track the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles tonight. At this hour, more than 180,000 people are under evacuation orders. Officials say at least 7 people have died, and the sheriff says he expects that number to rise. The Kenneth fire is the latest to spark. It's burning in Los Angeles and Ventura counties. It started around 3 this afternoon near Woodland Hills and is moving toward the Thousand Oaks neighborhood. Evacuation orders are in place along the 101. And right now, multiple fires continue to burn in Los Angeles County. Take a look. There's that Kenneth fire in Woodland Hills and Calabasas areas. The Palisades fire is the largest fire, still burning just north of Santa Monica. The Eaton fire continues burning in Altadena, and Hearst fire is burning near Sylmar. A new video from above shows block after block of homes destroyed in these fires. This is video flying over Pacific Palisades. Heavy smoke lingers in the air. Strong winds are fueling the fires. But today, winds eased enough for planes to fly and use the nearby Pacific Ocean for water drops. Now, the danger is not yet over. Tonight, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass says more resources are moving in.
I've joined the sheriff in inviting the National Guard to take on non-emergency roles and provide us with resources to keep the burn areas secure so that our frontline firefighters and police officers can focus on saving lives.
All right, let's get over to meteorologist Carly Gomez right now, tracking these fast-moving winds and conditions.
Yeah, red flag warning still in effect until 6 p.m. tomorrow. We're still getting another 24 hours of strong wind gusts as high as 50 to 60 miles per hour pushing through these zones, and a wind warning, also a high wind warning in place along with that red flag warning. Now, as we get a close look at the smoke that has been inundating most of Los Angeles as it continues to shift, we're seeing a lot of that also hugging the coastline down all the way towards San Diego. But as we start moving into Friday, strong winds pick up again tomorrow morning, pushing it mostly offshore. But unfortunately, we're still dealing with that air quality at very unhealthy to hazardous across most areas of Los Angeles, even up high in those spots where we're seeing Altadena, as well as the Hearst fire, Santa Clarita, all the way down to Palisades. Now, what we can expect to see is our futurecast winds pushing right now from Santa Clarita all the way down toward Calabasas, where we're seeing the newest fire emerging. As through tonight into tomorrow, we'll continue to see strong wind gusts. Even as of 5:30 a.m., you're seeing how fast they're moving with those colors and shades of purple. 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts could be expected. Meanwhile, sustained winds still around 25 miles per hour. We'll talk more about what to expect through the weekend coming up.
Carly, thank you. The White House says the federal government will be doing more as fires continue to burn in Los Angeles. President Biden announced the federal government will now cover 100% of costs for the initial disaster response, including debris removal, temporary shelter, and salaries for first responders for up to 180 days. He says generators for water supply and more firefighting equipment, including equipment coming from Canada, are also on the way. And he called on Congress to do more.
I'm going to make an appeal right now to the United States Congress. They're going to have to step up when we ask for more help. More help to get these people the kind of shelter they need, to get the kind of help they need, because it really does matter.
Vice President Harris also addressed the ongoing issues with the home insurance market in California and the impact these wildfires could have on families.
Sadly, many insurance companies have canceled insurance for a lot of the families who have been affected and will be affected, which is only going to delay or place an added burden on their ability to recover.
The vice president and president also heard from a FEMA official who said he anticipates there will be gaps in coverage and that federal agencies and nonprofits alike will have to step in to offer assistance. So I spoke one-on-one today with California's insurance commissioner, taking these concerns directly to him. swirling like embers are concerns that many who lost their home in the Los Angeles wildfires also lost insurance coverage as their policy was canceled or non-renewed in recent months.
We're going to see who's non-renewed. We're also looking at if you were non-renewed, but you're still essentially covered within the deadline, then do you still have coverage?
California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara points out state regulation requires insurance companies to give customers 75 days notice before their policy is canceled or non-renewed. So even if someone got a notice before the fires, they might still have coverage.
The other question is, what happens to the folks who are not insured? So we're going to rely on the federal government and FEMA to offer services and the state to be able to offer some sort of reprieve for folks who may not have coverage. But right now we're in the middle of assessing what insurance are covered in the area, who doesn't have coverage.
He says it's too soon to estimate a dollar figure for the losses, especially since homes and businesses are still actively burning and threatened.
My job at this moment is to make sure that insurance companies pay these claims out as quickly as possible.
Many homes here are on the expensive and bare-bones California FAIR Plan, a state-mandated, privately funded insurer of last resort. The number of people on the FAIR Plan ballooned in recent years as private insurers have paused or limited business in California, citing the rising risk of wildfires, high cost of rebuilding homes, and state regulations. I asked Lara.
So just to be clear, FAIR Plan customers who lose their home can expect to be paid out?
Absolutely.
In a statement, the FAIR Plan told ABC 10, "We are aware of misinformation being posted online regarding the FAIR Plan's ability to pay claims. The FAIR Plan has payment mechanisms in place, including reinsurance, to ensure all covered claims are paid." As for future fires, Commissioner Lara has enacted a 1-year moratorium on insurance companies dropping or non-renewing customers within the immediate area of the Los Angeles wildfires. So those who do have coverage right now will continue having it for at least a year. State lawmakers are offering solutions too. Today, 2 assembly members introduced a bill that would authorize the FAIR Plan to request bonds from the state in the event the FAIR Plan faces liquidity challenges following a major catastrophe, such as a wildfire. That money would help finance the cost of paying insurance claims. And the To The Point team spent months digging into the home insurance crisis, hearing from homeowners, Congress members, and the insurance commissioner about how we got to this point and what could be done to help. You can stream this special investigation right now on ABC 10 Plus. Just look for California's insurance crisis on the home screen. Well, still ahead, our wildfire coverage continues. Tonight, a California lawmaker criticizing Governor Newsom and LA mayor for their fire response.
A record temperature today at 69, tying the old records at 1953. Warm temperatures ahead, but colder nights as well. We'll talk more about that coming up.
Plus, a final farewell, how the nation is saying goodbye to former President Jimmy Carter. Meteorologist Carly Gomez joins us. You're tracking the winds and the conditions that are leading to these destructive wildfires.
Definitely, and we now know that at least the Palisades and the Eaton fire are now in the top 20 of the most destructive California wildfires. And these numbers are changing quickly. We already know Palisades is over 5,000 structures burned, so that should be topping it way up the list. As soon as CAL FIRE changes that, of course, we will as well. Just want to make sure we're on track with what they're posting. But number 18 and number 19 is currently where Palisades Fire and Eaton are sitting on the CAL FIRE statistics currently. Again, we do expect these to continue moving up toward number 2 and number 3, unfortunately, as many people have lost their homes down in Southern California. A red flag warning in effect until 6 p.m. on Friday, but we're still looking at a high wind warning also in effect until Friday evening. We will get a small break for Southern California and Northern California as well, but strong winds are expected to continue moving in as we move into Saturday and Sunday. Currently a low pressure system here in the desert Southwest, but that's also affecting Southern California as a high is to the north, funneling those winds right through areas of Southern California. We will start to see some shifting and shaking happening, bringing those winds into our region, actually, as we move into Saturday. But in the meantime, overnight into Friday morning, we are looking at visibility becoming more limited as we look at about 2 to 5 miles in visibility by Friday morning, 7 for Sacramento. Winds will begin picking up for ourselves as we move into early Saturday morning, 2 a.m., starting through the coastal range and really picking up across all of most of Northern California, I should say, 30 to almost 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts may be possible. Please be safe. This will be by Saturday afternoon. And then finally, as we get into Sunday, early morning hours, we should start seeing things slowing down. Looking at our 10-day forecast, we are going to be right around those mid-30s with overnight lows in the low 40s. So not too bad, but we'll gradually see temperatures dropping off here into our weekend into the upper 50s again Saturday. Extremely windy, so make sure you're aware of your outdoor plans. And then moving through next week, we're looking at mid to upper 50s, clear skies, not a drop of rain in sight for the next 10 days, unfortunately, as we need that water. But overnight lows will be dropping as well, as we're seeing those temperatures right around those mid-30s.
Carly, thank you. Well, next on To the Point, President-elect Trump about to be sentenced in his hush money trial. What could happen tomorrow? Plus, the final farewell, the nation paying its respects to former President Jimmy Carter. We continue to track the devastating and deadly wildfires in Los Angeles. Officials say at least 7 people have died. More than 10,000 buildings have been decimated, and over 180,000 people are under evacuations. Tonight, strong winds are continuing to fuel the flames. And amid these fires is growing backlash against Governor Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen explains what is being criticized and how these elected officials are responding.
Well, Becca, right now state lawmakers at the Capitol are in a special session called by the governor to prepare for legal battles with the incoming Trump administration. But Republican Assembly member Bill Asaley says that's a waste of our time when we should be using it to provide more resources to the firefight in L.A.
We should be focusing on fireproofing the state.
As crews continue to battle the flames in Los Angeles, lawmakers in Sacramento are in a special session to prepare for any legal costs that may come during a second Trump administration.
I just believe that's the wrong policy and priority.
That's why Republican Assemblymember Bill Asaley sent Governor Gavin Newsom this letter, demanding him to call off the special session and to focus on fireproofing the state.
Only thing we should be talking right now as a body is how do we deal with these wildfires? How do we get help to these victims? How do we prevent this from happening again? And what do we do with the insurance crisis?
Asaley also criticized Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass.
Mayor Bass looking, staring into a camera, not having anything to say, or having no water in the fire hydrants. It's a complete disaster.
The city says there was enough water, but because of the fire conditions, firefighters relied on fire hydrants that are not equipped to fight fires of an entire neighborhood. Bass emphasized getting the facts correct on Wednesday.
Claims that the tanks weren't full are false. On Monday evening, all available water tanks were filled before the fire.
Bass continues to be criticized for not being in Los Angeles when the fire started. Her response:
I was on a military flight, as I mentioned, which allowed me to be in constant communication. I was on the phone, on the plane, almost every hour of the flight.
But Asaley says that's still not enough.
We don't want a mayor who's going to work remotely.
Asaley echoing many critics, saying he's also disappointed to see cuts to the budget for the Los Angeles Fire Department this fiscal year.
Why did the mayor cut her fire budget? Why did she do that? The fire chief in her city sent her a letter and said, hey, this cut is going to impact our ability to prepare for fires.
Mayor Bass's response:
within this fiscal year, LAFD actually would go above what was allocated on July 1st.
I reached out to the governor's office about Asaley's letter to call off the special session. A spokesperson says this is a clear stunt, and Assemblymember Asaley has voted against billions of dollars in funding for wildfire and forest resilience and resources for CAL FIRE. To see the full statement, head over to our website at abc10.com. Becca.
Jeannie, thank you. And President-elect Donald Trump once again took to social media to criticize Governor Newsom's response to these wildfires. In a post on Truth Social, Trump writing in part, Newsom should go to Northern California and open up the water main and let the water flow into his dry, starving, burning state instead of having it go out into the Pacific Ocean. Well, we reached out to the governor's office for comment. They pointed us to a recent Cal Matters article saying, quote, the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, which serves 19 million people, mostly with imported water, also has an abundance with a record 3.8 million acre-feet of water in storage. In other news tonight, President-elect Trump will be sentenced tomorrow in his felony hush money case days before his inauguration. Trump attempted several times to delay the sentencing, and today the Supreme Court denied his latest attempt. In May, Trump was found guilty on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records tied to a hush money payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. The judge presiding over the case has signaled he intends to sentence Trump to an unconditional discharge with no jail time. Trump argues he has president-elect immunity and maintains his innocence. Tonight, the nation is saying their final farewells to former President Jimmy Carter. The late president was laid to rest today in his hometown of Plains, Georgia. His body was flown there for the final time after his state funeral in Washington, D.C. this morning. Tonight, Rena Roy shares moments from his final farewell.
Former President Jimmy Carter coming home to Georgia for the final time. Today, tributes in the tiny town of Plains, a procession with his casket going down the main street. At the Baptist church where Jimmy Carter taught Sunday school for all the years after the White House, a small private funeral. At the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. this morning, a state funeral.
He may be gone, but he's not gone far. The outpouring of love and support that we have felt from you and from around the world shows how many lives he has touched and how his spirit will live on in many ways for us.
All 5 living presidents there.
Because of patriots like Jimmy Carter. Throughout his life, he showed us what it means to be a practitioner of good works and a good and faithful servant of God and of the people.
Here in Plains, an outpouring of love where Carter's life began 100 years ago on a rural farm where a bell used to wake him up an hour before dawn. The peanut farmer who became the 39th president.
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear.
Taking the oath of office in January of 1977, serving just 1 term, but perhaps most celebrated for the humanitarian work he did for decades after his presidency as the longest-lived U.S. president. Today, his family burying him next to his beloved wife, Rosalind, near their humble home in a place they both picked out.
As he returned to Plains, Georgia, for his final resting place, we can say goodbye. Jimmy Carter did justly, loved mercy, walked humbly. May God bless a great American, a dear friend, and a good man.
And you can watch President Biden's full eulogy from Carter's funeral and his grandson's speech streaming right now on our free ABC 10 Plus app. Next on To The Point, how you can play a helping hand in the ongoing wildfire response in Los Angeles.
I know I'm not supposed to be here, but this is my parents' home.
I know the feeling.
And they just they got canceled from their fire insurance.
Welcome back. Last night, we introduced you to this woman, an emergency room nurse who hosed down her parents' house as neighbors' homes burned around her in the Altadena area of Los Angeles. She said she was doing this because her parents, who are 90 years old, had their fire insurance canceled. Well, tonight, we are happy to report that the ABC station in Los Angeles, KABC, learned her parents' house is still standing. The anchor who interviewed her shared this Instagram story saying the home survived. But tonight, officials say more than 10,000 structures have burned in Los Angeles, and people need your help. The Sacramento SPCA is working to help animals left behind. The CEO, who moved here from Los Angeles, says she felt the need to reach out to the Pasadena Humane Society. Wednesday night, members of SPCA drove there to pick up 17 animals to help them make room for others and brought those animals back to the Sacramento shelter.
The biggest thing that people can do to help us right now is to come down and adopt. We have lots of animals available for adoption, large dogs especially. Also, we are always looking for new volunteers.
The American Red Cross also has boots on the ground, helping to provide shelter for people who have been affected. So far, they've sent out 8 volunteers to LA. ABC has partnered with the American Red Cross. They are looking for donations. You can make monetary donations by going to redcross.org/ABC, where there is a California wildfires designation. Well, thank you for your generosity, and thank you so much for watching and inviting us into your home. If you have something you think we should be looking into, please send the team an email at tothepoint@abc10.com. And To The Point doesn't end here. To watch stories featured on the show, download our free ABC 10 Plus app wherever you stream. Have a great night, and as my grandma always said, be kind to one another.
Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To The Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To The Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention Bay Sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. What's super exciting, I know you care about high school sports. You'll never find a more comprehensive guide and team dedicated to high school sports. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look, it's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To The Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.